Philadelphia, 1776, birthplace of a nation. The Declaration of Independence provided colonists with certain unalienable rights. Among these, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. 200 years later, these rights were denied to 5 innocent children caught between a radical movement and a city that failed to protect them.
The signers of the Declaration of Independence would not have recognized the Philadelphia into which the Back to Nature group MOVE settled in the 1970s. Under Police Commissioner Frank Rizzo, widespread police brutality stripped many of these rights, fostering a climate of distrust and conflict. Founded in 1972 by Vincent Leapart, MOVE responded to this abuse of power by fighting against the system, which to Leapart meant racial injustice and government authority. MOVE attacked the mistreatment of animals and the environment and rejected modern technology. To show unity, MOVE members chose the surname Africa. Leapart, their charismatic leader, became known as John Africa.
We see John Africa in the same way that people saw Jesus Christ because of his carpentry, because of his simple way of living.
In 1974, MOVE settled in West Philadelphia's Powelton Village, a diverse neighborhood of liberal-minded residents. It was there that MOVE children quickly learned John Africa's guidelines.
Our religion is non-compromising to the deception of insane speculation. Long live John Africa!
MOVE children were restricted to a diet of raw fruits and vegetables, were not allowed to attend public school or taught to read and write, and often ran naked through their neighborhood.
I saw their small children marched around the block each morning in November, barefoot, wearing only loincloths, supervised by fully clothed, bundled up MOVE adults.
They tried to live in the city as if it were the forest, ignoring modern plumbing, trash collection, or rat control. They offended the neighbors first and then the city.
As tensions escalated, Philadelphia's Mayor Rizzo set out to evict MOVE.
The police will be in there to drag them out by the backs of their necks, children or not.
On August 8th, 1978, police bulldozed the MOVE house's barricade. A gun battle followed, leaving Officer James Ramp dead. 9 MOVE members were imprisoned for the death of the policeman, a crime MOVE denied committing. Although no MOVE child was injured, these events foreshadowed those of May 13th, 1985, and young Birdie Africa would survive both. After the Powelton Village standoff, Birdie and the rest of MOVE eventually settled at 6221 Osage Avenue in Philadelphia. The house was near Cobb's Creek, where Birdie and other MOVE children played.
We had a very personal relationship with this water. The organization's mission being to protect life and understanding nature, and we had to learn how to eat and use nature to provide for us.
While the children's days seemed idyllic, Osage neighbors soon grew concerned that MOVE was shirking their parental responsibilities.
Cobb's Creek was one of the most polluted waterways in Pennsylvania. So where is parental care if you're allowing your children swim in a polluted waterway?
MOVE children were uneducated. Their children could have been 18 years old, and they did not know how to spell the word "the."
As for the MOVE adults, their focus was not on the rights of their children, but on the rights and liberation of the MOVE 9. Inviting police intervention with their increasingly brazen behavior, MOVE boarded their windows and mounted a bunker on the roof. They blasted profanities and threats across loudspeakers, disrupting the otherwise peaceful streets. Neighbors pressured the city to do something, but it wasn't until Pennsylvania's governor intervened that Philadelphia's first black mayor, Wilson Goode, requested a tactical plan to drive out MOVE.
On May 12, 1985, over 500 police officers and several SWAT teams prepared their attack on 6221. The following morning, Police Commissioner Sambor shouted through a bullhorn, "Attention MOVE, this is America. All occupants have 15 minutes to peacefully surrender." A sustained gun battle broke out. In under 90 minutes, police fired over 10,000 rounds of ammunition and launched tear gas canisters into the house. With MOVE's refusal to surrender, Mayor Goode did the unthinkable. He authorized the release of a military-grade bomb from a police helicopter onto the bunker.
There's kids in there. What about the kids?
In utter disbelief, a city watched as firefighters let the fire burn, with the children still inside, desperately trying to escape. One of them was Birdie.
And Birdie came through the fire. I'm saying, son, come over here. And he says, don't shoot me, don't shoot me. He looked up and said, I'm hungry. That kid went from thinking that I was going to kill him to he thought I would feed him.
The fire burned for over an hour before firefighters even turned on their hoses. By then, the fire was out of control, and by morning, only Birdie and Ramona Africa had escaped. 61 houses lay in ruins. 6 Move adults and 5 Move children lay dead in the rubble. Patricia, Zanetta, Phil, Delisha, and Tommaso. The city, the nation, the world reacted with shock and condemnation, glued to their TVs for answers. Who was responsible? Whose rights were denied? Weeks later, Mayor Good called upon a special investigation commission to determine responsibility. During the hearings, Birdie revealed the unspeakable horror of that day.
A big bomb went off. It shook the whole house up. And then they told us to go out. Then the cops started shooting again. But all that smoke started coming in. And that's when they started hollering. They were saying, the kid's coming out.
5 children never made it out, despite the commission's final report that cited the bombing as reckless, ill-conceived, and hastily approved. No city official was ever criminally charged for the May 13th attack, the deaths of 11 Move members, or the destruction of 2 city blocks. The Move children deserved to know who failed them on that day. They had the right to be protected, to be free from violence. The adults in their lives were responsible for fulfilling that right. Yet, Move allowed their children to live in a dangerous setting, and on that day did not send them to safety.
Mayor Good was responsible for protecting his citizens, but failed to halt the operation when he knew that children were in the house. The police were responsible for minimizing force, yet fired over 10,000 rounds of ammunition at a house containing children. City officials were responsible for crisis mitigation, but dropped a bomb in the middle of a city without warning. Firefighters responsible for putting out fires used fire as a tactical weapon instead. In every single instance, the rights of the Move children were denied by the adults who should have protected them on that fateful day.
Determined to keep their story alive, Move's decade-long fight for justice for their fallen members has created lasting impacts that extend far beyond May 13, 1985. In 1996, a federal jury ordered Philadelphia to pay $1.5 million to relatives of Move members killed in the bombing. The jury found that the city used excessive force and violated the members' constitutional protections against unreasonable search and seizure. In 2020, Philadelphia City Council formally apologized for the Move bombing. The resolution recognized the cruelty of the event, called for the city to eliminate racial injustice, and established May 13th as an annual day of remembrance. And recently, it was revealed that the medical examiner's office and forensic experts at the University of Pennsylvania and Princeton failed for decades in their responsibility to handle the children's remains with respect and dignity when the remains were stored for years on museum shelves and used to teach online classes.
Sadly, the Move bombing does not stand alone as a dark stain on the nation's history. Like the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre and the 1993 Waco Siege, the use of excessive force by government agencies led to the tragic loss of life, including the deaths of children. Each fueled debates about civil liberties, the infringement of constitutional rights, and the government's handling of marginalized groups.
Ultimately, the Move children were caught in the middle of that debate. Move had the right to revolt against societal norms, follow their own religion, and practice free speech. But in doing so, they failed to uphold their children's fundamental rights to an education, safe shelter, a healthy lifestyle, and freedom from harm. Philadelphia city officials were responsible for protecting their citizens, but abdicated those responsibilities when they failed to prioritize peaceful conflict resolution and be held accountable for the devastating consequences of their decisions.
And so, from the ashes of 6221 Osage Avenue comes a stark reminder: rights are not protected unless those in power uphold their responsibilities. Likewise, those who demand rights must accept the responsibility to ensure their pursuit does not endanger others, especially the most vulnerable, like the Move children. So who failed the children?
Every single adult involved in this failed all those kids.